Hello and welcome to FXWB New Beginnings Podcast. New week for us here on the podcast, and we are so happy that you are back with us. We are gearing up. Some people are in school already, and some people are not, and we have a lot of busy things happening. But sometimes you just have to sit and take a breather. And I want you to take a deep breath in and breathe out. It will be all done. And we'll be all right. Okay? Great. We here at FXWB want to continue our talk. We had a great talk with Regina last week, and people are asking for more. So I'm going to deliver. We here at FXWB are grateful so much for your comments and your interest in learning more about life coaching and what a life coach can do for you. Coaching is basically our way of teaching you what we have learned to help you. And we love to help others in different spheres of life and for you to understand what is great about living in general. So whether you're a busy corporate woman, a at-home wife taking care of kids, a grandmother, a daughter, a son, a husband, we want you to know that you can listen in to us here and learn ways of living better, regardless of what's going on around you. So welcome again, Regina, to us here on FXWB New Beginnings Podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you started off with let's take an intentional deep breath because I definitely followed along because I definitely needed it. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming on again. We were so geared up from what you taught us last week. We learned about your story. I want to get straight into a little bit of coaching today.
Yeah.
And, guys, if you're in a community with people, it's always great to learn from others because Regina has taught so much. We both talk about the same things in different ways, but we were able to, reach out to others so that they too can learn how to live better. So today we want to talk about it's okay. We mentioned that in the last episode that it's okay. It's okay if everybody doesn't like you. It's okay that you didn't get everything done today. It's okay. And one of the reasons why I came back to this topic is because Regina reminded me in an email that, okay, I had a bad day today, but it's okay. And I want us to kind of expound a little bit more on what do we mean by it's okay, because some people might be saying, no, it's not okay. I'm fed up, I'm hurt, I'm tired. I hate having to always be in the negative. And you keep saying it's okay, Michelle, or you keep saying it's okay, Regina. Why are you saying that? So let's talk a little bit about that today, Regina.
Yes, thank you. And while you were talking, what really came up to me to segue into it is this point of resistance. And I learned a concept was called life is 50-50. And again, like our beliefs that we have, we all get to choose. Those are the beliefs we want to take on. So everything I'm offering is, I like to say, like a hat or a nice cozy sweater. And you just think about what I'm offering and decide if it serves you or not. But the concept that I learned and what I live by is life is 50-50, meaning that 50% of the time, things are going to suck. 50% of the time, I'm going to have a bad day. I'm going to do the wrong thing. I'm going to make a mistake. Someone's going to make me angry. I'm going to be hurt, like all the emotions that you offered. And by seeing it as just part of life's process, I then don't have that resistance that we have when we think, oh, it needs to be great. Like I'm not enjoying my time here right now. I'm not in life. It just sucks because I'm having this difficult moment. I also like to define it as like a moment doesn't define you. So with 4 kids, being a wife, having my career, all those things, I make mistakes on a daily basis. And I have to constantly remind myself doing that thing right there didn't define me as a person. So I say all that to say that the first part of us saying like it's okay is to help relieve that resistance that comes from when we're thinking it's not okay. Because if you think about it, if you're going through a difficult situation, and then you're also thinking this shouldn't be happening, you're adding resistance upon that negative experience. So then you have an even more negative experience.
Yeah. And that's my way of saying take a deep breath.
Hmm.
Take a deep breath. Just stop for a minute and
Yes.
just take a deep breath.
Yes.
Because when we take that deep breath, it not only just seemingly calm you, we have so much things going on in us chemically that
Mhm.
if we understand by breathing, we bring down the stress levels a notch or two. And it just and as Regina just said, it also stops us from thinking negative.
Mhm.
Even if it's just for a moment, it does.
Yeah.
So if you think about taking that deep breath and really kind of like, okay, even though you feel like you don't have control, at that point, even if it's just for a moment, you are regaining control.
Yes, yes, because like you said, the chemical part, like literally your nervous system is being calmed. And I like to say, and I learned it from someone, I can't remember who, but high emotions equals low intelligence. Like when we are in that very high state of anger and frustration and hurt or whatever, we're not really thinking logically. So that deep breath is so important for sure. And it always goes back to emotions, right? Like if we think about, okay, what makes something a bad day? What makes it a horrible experience? Even when you introduce a topic, it was all around how we feel, like that negative emotion. And so the email that I had sent out was honestly a that entire email that I wrote was really me talking to myself. I had had a really rough morning, and my mornings are usually well. And so, I mean, I have rough parts throughout my day, right? But the morning, so it really hit me when I had that rough morning. And I mean, I'm just all over the place. I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing all this anyway? This is pointless. I don't have anything to offer. Like all the things that our brain offers us for many different reasons. That's for a whole nother podcast. But I had to, the tools that I've learned, been able to, okay, feel that, right? Like when we think about what makes us think that, oh, my life's horrible or things aren't working well, is usually the inability to feel those negative emotions and be with them. So, me being able to be with the sadness, the disappointment, the frustration that was happening for me and feel that it really is like truly living, right? If we think that,
Yes.
oh, I only live and experience when things are going well, we're going to miss out on 50% of life. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, we're not saying don't feel that way. You want to experience that. You want to feel your emotions, but by taking the deep breath, you are able to calm yourself down to
Yes.
feel those emotions and then figure out, okay, what's my next step?
Yes, I love
Because
that. Pause.
yeah,
Nothing is usually an emergency, although in the moment we think that it is, but we have time to take those deep breaths, which, like you said, energetically, emotionally, and chemically, we get to kind of bring it down. That's exactly what I did before I wrote that email. When I was, that email really just like walked others through what I do. Like, okay, it's a horrible morning for me. Take my deep breath. I'm living. This is part of the life experience, and being able to actually feel that is so important to move on, actually.
yeah, because if you don't claim it, then all day, all the time, you'll be struggling with it.
Yeah.
And then you would never have clarity to do anything else because this thing is, it's burdensome on you.
Yeah. And the idea of it's okay is really like, for me, it's a reminder to myself, to you, to everyone else that it's normal to have a rough time. It's normal to have a rough patch. It's normal to have rough weeks, months. People lose people, they lose their jobs. Big things are happening. Or like me, that particular morning, I think it was just probably a rough morning with my teenager, which is what I'm going through now. One of my teens, it's just we're in that patch together and learning how to navigate that as she transitions into full teenagehood and high school. And it was rough for me. And so although all that was going on, the reminder, oh, it is okay. It's like this is life's experience. In order to like fully thrive and experience life, we've got to be able to feel those parts as well, right?
Yes, yes. And when you claim it, it's not so much about a pity patter. It's not it's not to, be down on yourself, but now what Regina is suggesting, there's a step forward. and what we can do as we go forward. So what would be something that you would share somebody, okay, after we claim this, what do I do? Do I go back? How do I go forward?
Yeah, it totally depends on the situation, but for the first part you said, I don't want to mull over that is claiming it. And that is we've got to be in a headspace to see what we're experiencing as normal. If we try to go to work, try to move forward while thinking something is wrong with this experience, all of those thoughts are going to go with us. And now we're trying to fix something that doesn't necessarily need to be fixed. It's part of the life's process. So claiming it, I love how you say that. Like, this is my life experience right now, and the deep breath would be the next step, and then really tapping into what is important right now. Like, what, for example, with my team, we had a rough morning. But then when I'm able to think and breathe, and this is experience, I'm equipped for this. Like, what are we saying to ourselves about our ability to handle whatever it is? So for me, it was, listen, this is normal. She just got into the school routine. She had been off for homeschooling for a year or so. Of course she's going to miss the bus. Of course she's going to wake up irritated at 6 in the morning, because for almost 2 years she's been able to lackadaisical, so me just really bringing myself back to center of the facts of the matter, right? And this makes total sense, and understanding that relationships are going to have these ups or downs in that situation. So regardless of whatever someone is going through, really looking at the neutrality of it all, right? Like,
Yeah.
this, I said words, this thing happened, I experienced this is the news I was told. And then what are you saying about yourself in order to really see yourself as the person capable of dealing with those things?
Mhm.
And then what are you doing with those emotions? Like, it's always going to come down to that, because the things that we do and don't do, usually it's down to our ability to experience an emotion. So are we avoiding them? Are we reacting to them? Are we allowing those to be there? Because our emotions are always messengers.
Yes. And when you talk about, messengers, we have to kind of realize we have to relate to ourselves continually.
Mm,
And sometimes if we don't have a person to, talk to help us through a situation, I always turn back to God.
mm,
He always there, but sometimes we think we could do everything for ourselves. So sometimes we really have to just stay quiet and listen for just a few minutes as to where should I be going? What
mm,
should I be doing? How
mhm,
can I take this challenge and learn from it to be able to move forward? So when it does happen again, I know what to do.
mhm,
And as Regina suggested, those steps of you claiming it, you take the deep breaths, you turn to the factual, what actually happening, and then try to work from the factual. So it's more about, okay, take the feeling out of the facts first. We're not saying don't feel, don't have emotions, but you have emotions at a point, but then you have to become factual. You have to look at it from a standpoint of how can I help myself through this situation and make it so much so that it becomes a positive thing rather than a negative.
Yeah, and to your point, and I'm using the situation with my daughter because
Mhm.
that's what it came from, and so people can see. But while you're listening, think of your own situation. And you literally just insert your thing. But with that, for example, when I sat with my emotions, I was frustrated. I was irritated. Maybe felt disrespected as well. And what are those messages for me? Well, when I sit with those negative emotions, and I, like you said, like, allow you to sit and kind of see what comes to you, what came for me was, I was just kind of like, "Ugh, I hope I don't have to start taking her to school every day, or she needs to get up on time for the bus. Like, is this going to work? Like, we got to make sure she gets there on time." So those messages, those emotions was just really trying to, okay, we got to make sure, right? She's transitioning to high school, that anxiety as a mom to make sure she's transitioning well. And then I can sit with those. And then that higher part of me, like, it's okay. Like,
Right.
we're going to figure this out. This is a transitional piece. And then how do I want to feel, and what do I want to think moving forward, as we start to then, in that instance, work together to figure out, like, how can we make this happen?
Right. And involving the other party helps because it's not just you dealing
Right.
with the situation, it's your daughter as well, and having her putting in her piece as into what she sees as a way moving forward helps, because
Mhm.
now you both are kind of like talking through this to get through it.
Yeah, and like we can talk all day about kids and what how important that is too for them to kind of co-create with you and to feel like they have a say in what's happening. But I think that's true for any person, right? Like something's not being done to them, they get to be involved in the mapping.
Yeah, yeah. All right. All right, guys. That's our coaching for today. But seriously, as Regina suggested, what we just talked about, you can use this same method in any situation. There might be different parameters to it, but you can use the same way of learning how to deal with matters in any situation. But then you might say, well, I'm not a professional. I don't know what's going on. It never worked before. It breaks up at some point. There's always some kind of miscommunication happening. And that's understandable. And that means sometimes we need outside source. And and we need to get help from others. Sometimes when we have somebody looking in, and that person is not related to you, it's not a friend or anything, that really does help for you to see someone who is not connected to this but can help you or coach you into doing the right thing.
Hmm.
And guess what, it mightn't be at the first chance, because we're still working on ourselves as individuals as well.
Hmm.
And knowing that you can turn to someone else is important. And I am very grateful for Regina to sharing her way of helping others to live better by doing life coaching. And if this has resonated with you in any way, Regina currently has a weekly open coaching sessions going on till September 25th. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I love your point of like getting outside help because a term that I like to think of is like it's difficult to change the brain or to fix a problem with the brain that created it. And
Mhm.
that's for even us as coaches, right? We both also invest in our own help. So it's so important. And I'm loving the conversation that's normalizing to bring
Yes.
people in the different modalities that we're able to in today's time.
Mhm.
Thank you for offering the open coaching. So yes, those are every Wednesday night, I'm sorry, at 9 p.m. Eastern on Zoom, free to anyone. And the container really is a safe space for us to come and receive help on anything. Like literally, folks can bring whatever struggles they're working on. Some people are like, I just don't feel well, I'm not sure. And I walk them through so we can figure out what is that next best step for them. Some people bring in goals, they have obstacles that they continue to encounter, and they're just hitting, and not sure how to move past that. So it's an open hour. People bring their things. We use a chat. People raise their hand. We all talk. And what I also love about group coaching as a coach and also as a client myself is that I get to learn from other people. When someone's getting coached, they may not be talking like how I shared about my teen daughter in our situation. You might not have kids, but you might have someone at work that you're having an issue with,
Right.
your partner, your friend, whatever, yourself, whatever the case may be. And so to hear someone else getting help with something, and I help guide everyone listening how to take that coaching and put it into their personal perspective. We use a chat feature in there. People have questions, and it's really a beautiful way for people to start to see the beauty, the power in being coached because we're talking about it more and more. But every time I have a conversation with most people, they have no idea really what coaching is and how powerful it can be. So it's a free way to come and see, what is this coaching? What is it about? And how can it help me get those next best steps?
Great. And as you said, it's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's a Zoom call. So once you're interested in doing this, Regina has it shared on all her pages, her social media pages, and I will share it as well on mine, and I will share it in this write up as well for all of you to join her even this Wednesday or next Wednesday when you have time to come on board. And it's free, guys. So you can learn from Regina all about life issues and how to navigate through it. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. We wanted to do this short podcast coaching session with everyone because it is so important to know that it's okay to be flustered sometimes or angry sometimes or sad or even, you know, always happy, but you're not too sure what you're happy about and you want clarification about it, or you're always helping others, but yet being used. And that's a big one. A
Mhm.
big one. So, um, but learning how to navigate through that and understanding what your dynamics is in such a situation is important, and learning how to, make sure that everybody, all parties are involved, are on a positive level and a positive note helps a lot. Yes.
Absolutely. I love all of that. I'm like, yes, yes, yes.
Wonderful. So we here at FXWB, we are grateful for you touching in again with us. I will share with you guys Regina's information again, and do come on there. This next Wednesday, you can hear 9 p.m. I will be on there too, listening in, and it's a safe space for us to all talk and learn how to navigate life together.
Thank you. I would love
You
to.
are welcome. Thank you so much, Virginia. Thank you guys for listening. God bless you guys and talk to you soon.